In 1995, it wasn't all blue skies for the Miami Dolphins. For a franchise as accustomed to winning as the Dolphins, even a trip to the playoffs doesn't necessarily spell success.
All right, all right. I mean, that was pretty.
True, the Dolphins offered pretty plays, and with a team of tangible talent, Miami ran away with some games. But with expectations high, even Herculean effort is not always enough.
Gracious, did he lay out for that ball? What yes, yes. I mean, that was magnificent.
Still, the Dolphins gave better than they got, and like every great team, they never surrendered.
Fryer goes in motion to the right side. The pitch to Terry Kirby going right side. He's looking to throw. He's going to pass to Irving Fryer. He's got it at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Dolphins! Yeah!
1995 was a year of milestones and record-setting performances. But most of all, it was a year of transition, as the man who helped define the Dolphins said goodbye. For more than a quarter of a century, he has been the symbol of Dolphin excellence. To a man, his men have been committed to victory and him. Whether under sunny skies or capricious rains, the story of Don Shula's career has been good year after good year. The youngest coach to post 100, then 200, and even 300 wins, Don Shula is the avatar of coaching excellence. Don Shula's statistical achievements are nonpareil. But beyond the staggering numbers is Shula's constancy. In a world of fleeting feelings, Shula's fealty has been unmatched.
The Dolphins have won Super Bowl VII, have completed the greatest season in NFL history.
Coach Shula now has won number 325 as he becomes the all-time winningest coach in the history of the National Football League, breaking the record of the immortal George Halas, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Through the years, I'm just going to think about it for one quick second, and then this is the last you guys are going to hear about 324, 325, whatever.
I feel good about the decision that I've made, and I want to make myself available to Wayne, who has given me all the support that you could ask for since he's took over ownership of the Miami Dolphins. He's been there to help us every way that he could. And, that's all you can ask for, and I've really enjoyed this relationship, and I've pledged to help him with whatever help that he needs in the future, and, you know, he's got that assurance.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Jimmy.
Wonderful. Still on.
How about with the check?
Oh. That's wonderful. That's impressive. Those zeros are blinding.
You notice how my eyes close when I really smile big? And they lit up, too.
Well, it's indeed a pleasure for me to be back in South Florida, to be the head coach of an organization that I have admired for quite some time, an organization that I think is at the very best in the NFL, and that's the reason I'm in here.
Hopefully the 2 years away from football on the sideline helped me become a better coach. I think I have a good overview of what the league is doing, what the different 30 teams are doing, and then on top of that, I think I know more of what's happening with the AFC, because I was in the NFC before, and I really wasn't on top of what was happening in the other conference.
Jimmy Johnson is always on top of things. As the coach of a national championship team at the University of Miami, the winner of 2 Lombardi trophies, and a 4-time recipient of Coach of the Year honors, South Florida still has the best coach in the NFL.
I think the biggest thing with the football team right now is we want to establish an attitude that we're going to be the very best. And I know from day one that's not going to be the case, but as time goes on, I think that attitude will creep in that we will be the best.
The Dolphins have talent, and Jimmy Johnson will assure that the proper attitude is combined with all that aptitude. And in what may be a harbinger of next season, the Dolphins began last season with the perfect combination of talent and teamwork. With the temperature in the mid-90s, heat was in the air for the home opener. But nothing was as hot as the Dolphin offense, which exploded for the second most points in team history.
He's in for the touchdown. My goodness, what a nice heave by Danny. What a nice pattern by Irving Fryer.
So Parmalee by himself in the backfield. Takes the handoff, has a hold to the left side. He's breaking it to the left. He's at the 15, 10, 5.
What an effort by Bernie Parmalee.
Marino under center. Second down, he's back. He's looking. Now scrambling to the right side. Throws into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Irving Fryer. Deep in the end zone. Marino.
Still, the offensive frenzy was made possible by the defense, which forced 6 turnovers.
Esiason, short drop again. He throws. It's intercepted. Troy Vincent, look out.
Goodbye.
He's at the 40.
Get to the house.
30. One man to beat. Oh, man.
Oh, my.
The 38-point margin of victory was a Dolphin opening day best. But a week later in Foxborough, it got better as the Dolphins used a little long distance and deception against the Patriots. Terry Kirby made passing look easy, but it was a more traditional figure in the pocket who provided the day's longest score.
10, Marino under center. He's back to pass. Again, good protection. He's throwing for McDuffie or Fryer. He's got it at the 40. He's to the 30. Down to the 20. 10. And touchdown, Dolphins.
Oh, my. What a humongous play by Danny.
A week later, the Dolphins returned home to face the Steelers before the largest crowd in Joe Robbie Stadium's history. With expectations high, it was once again the defense which was red hot as they extended their streak of not surrendering a touchdown to 9 quarters.
The pass, Tom Zach under pressure, they get him! He is sacked! And he's under pressure, scrambling around, he's hit, it's a fumble! And the Dolphins recover at the 32-yard line! Oh,
Dan Marino efficiently converted turnovers into touchdowns.
Complete to Kirby at the 10, at the 5, touchdown, Dolphins!
At 3-0, the Finns were alone atop the AFC East and looking like a team capable of great things. A week later in Cincinnati, however, what was supposed to be a romp instead became a worry as the underdog Bengals led late in the 4th quarter. Still, no deficit daunts the Dolphins, and as Marino took center stage, Miami's comeback took shape. Dissecting the defense with cruel precision, Marino drove the Dolphins 74 yards in 10 plays. And on a day when Marino would throw for more than 450 yards, he would save his best throw for his last.
Dolphins down to the 15-yard line of the Bengals. Marino takes the snap. He's looking, throwing into the end zone. O.J. McDuffie. He made the catch. It's a touchdown, Dolphins. Marino to O.J.
What a big play by O.J. McDuffie.
The Dolphins' remarkable comeback concluded a perfect September. But a month to remember would be followed by one to forget. Against the Colts in Week 6, a 21-point lead inexplicably vanished, and with it the Dolphins' unblemished record. Even worse, a knee and hip injury to Dan Marino kept number 13 sidelined for 2 weeks. Against the Saints, Bernie Kosar valiantly threw for 2 scores, but once again the Dolphins were bested. Out of sorts and out of options, the Dolphins found themselves floundering. The nadir occurred against the Jets in Week 8. For the 3rd consecutive week, the Dolphins were on the wrong end of the score. Suddenly, a season which had begun with seemingly unlimited promise was teetering on the brink of ruin. It was close to criminal, A team with that much talent losing 3 in a row. And with the arch-rival Bills in town, there was no more margin for error. The time had come to stand and deliver.
All day long! All day long!
Defensively, we got to get the turnovers. We got to make the play.
The Dolphins heard and heeded, then proceeded to brutalize the Bills.
My goodness, what magnificent football this defense is playing.
And while the defense was flying to the ball, Miami runners were flying toward the end zone.
Marino, the quick pitch going back to Kirby, following Wilson around the left side. He's to the 5. He dives. He's in.
Oh, my goodness, what a play!
That was a long jump of about 15 feet. To the backfield, Marino. Hands off to Parmalee, following Myers right. He's to the 15, the 5. Touchdown Dolphins. He got into the end zone.
Parmalee's perfect swan dive proved to be the Bills' swan song and ended the Dolphins' skid. The Dolphins' stifling defense is led by Tim Bowens. At 6'4" and over 300 pounds, number 95 has the physique to get physical. Whether it's shooting a gap for a stop in the backfield, beating a double team, or fending off a blocker with one arm and stripping the ball with the other, Tim Bowens is more than an exciting player. He's a player to get excited about. Another thing to get excited about is a payback. And against the Chargers in Week 10, an opportunity to avenge a playoff loss had emotions running high.
Keep it going, keep it going!
Back to pass, he's looking, throws over the middle. It is tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Chris Singleton at the 50-yard line. He's to the 10, he's down to the 7. He fumbled the ball, and the Dolphins recover at the 5-yard line. Caputo fumbled.
Why don't we go orange? 62, blood orange, 62 tight end short. From orange? Underneath, yeah.
Can't do it
Fake, flood wide, fake.
Parmalee by himself in the backfield behind Marino. On 1st and 15, short drop, Dan throws, slant to Fryer. He's at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. He's in! Touchdown, Dolphins!
Excellent.
Baby. Damn good job. Let's go, boy. Let's go. Finish it off. Baby.
That's what I get paid for, man.
For the game, Dan Marino would throw for nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it was the offensive line which provided the surge for the game's decisive score.
Come on, O-line.
Myers and Parmalee in the backfield. Keith Myers dives. The officials say touchdown Miami.
Yes! Wow.
The Dolphins' 24-14 victory improved their record to 6-3. But more important, by scoring when it had to, Miami's offense demonstrated the poise necessary for success in the NFL. It's a poise rookie tackle Billy Milner displayed all season long. Milner provides a perfect bookend to the Dolphins' all-pros on the left side of the line, tackle Richmond Webb and guard Keith Sims. It's a triumvirate of toughness and tenacity.
Right now, we're going to have a veteran offensive team, and I think it's very important having Dan Marino at quarterback. It was important for me to surround him with an outstanding supporting cast and an experienced group.
Surrounding Dan Marino with experience and expertise will be made easier thanks to some talents like tight end Eric Green, wide receiver Randall Hill, and free agent acquisition Fred Barnett. Still, no receiver proved to be more reliable last season than O.J. McDuffie. 1995 marked McDuffie's finest season to date. setting personal bests in receptions, receiving yardage, and touchdowns.
Snap to Dan, looking, throws into the end zone. It's caught. McDuffie touchdown. Dan Marino and a great catch by O.J. McDuffie in the corner of the end zone.
Go-to guy may be an overworked phrase, but what else to call a player whose receptions produce first downs more than 80% of the time? And while O.J. McDuffie is stunning in his efficiency, he's hardly the only weapon in the Miami arsenal. Expect running back Irving Spikes to tear it up next season as he vies for a starting job. Along with Bernie Parmalee and Terry Kirby, who were the 1-2 punch of the Miami running game last season. Whether it's turning the corner and galloping for a first down around the end, or splitting the seam between the tackles, each back has the talent and temperament to turn a game around. For the second season in a row, Parmalee led the team in rushing, while Kirby rebounded from an injury-marred '94 season to post a career high in rushing yardage. While the Dolphins were unmistakably a pass-dominated team in '95, it would be a mistake to discount the importance of Miami's running game. And with talents such as these, expect the running game to soar to new heights in 1996. The view from top is always preferred, but Week 14 saw the Dolphins in an all-too-familiar position, trailing a team they figured to beat. Still, while the fans were restless, the Dolphins were resourceful. Trailing by 6 points with under 2 minutes remaining and without a timeout, Miami called on Dan Marino, who responded with a magnificent 8-play drive. With precision and poise, Marino dissected the Falcon defense. Even gutting out a first down with a gritty scramble. Still, only 11 seconds separated Miami from yet another loss.
Here we go. 3 wideouts left and 1 to the right.
Middle is open.
He's looking. He's under some pressure. Steps out to the right side. Throws into the end zone. And it is caught. It's a touchdown. Touchdown, Dolphins. Oh, my God. The Dolphins have scored. They did it. 11 seconds left in the game, and the Dolphins have scored a touchdown.
I don't believe it. The Dolphins are going to win.
It was vintage Marino, playing his best when his team needed him most. The Dolphins have always needed Dan Marino, but what team wouldn't? He is quite simply the greatest quarterback in NFL history.
And Dan Marino's got such a vision of the field. He's got the quick release that everybody talks about, but more than anything else, I think the accuracy of him getting the ball to the receiver to make big plays.
Big plays have been the hallmark of Marino's career, and 1995 was no exception. With his hair trigger release and pinpoint accuracy, Marino remains the epitome of what an NFL quarterback should be. For the record, Marino finished the season with 309 completions, over 3,600 yards, and 24 touchdowns. Good numbers, to be sure, but when combined with the statistics from his first 12 campaigns, they became legendary.
Takes the snap, he steps up, he's under pressure, moves left, now fires wide open. Clark's open, it's a touchdown!
For Dan Marino now holds every meaningful career passing record in the NFL, including most completions, most yards passing, and perhaps the most coveted passing mark of all, most career touchdown passes.
He breaks the tackle. He's in. Touchdown, Dolphins. And Dan Marino, with that touchdown, has broken another record. He has the granddaddy of them all now. Most touchdown passes ever. And the Dolphins are on.
Dan Marino's statistical achievements are without precedent. So, too, is his talent. And to celebrate, even the former record holder, Fran Tarkenton, was on hand to give a hand to the quarterback whose name now appears atop the record book and will perhaps forever. In Week 15, the Dolphins' record stood at 7-6. A victory against the Chiefs was an imperative, so the defense hunkered down and came up with the big plays.
All right! What a defensive surge by that Dolphin unit.
Marino helped transform the turnovers into points.
Motion from McDuffie now. Marino takes the snap. He's back. He's looking. Throws over the middle. Touchdown, O.J. McDuffie. He was wide open in the end zone.
Yes, Miami!
With time running out, it was up to the defense to preserve the victory.
Here we go. 4th down. Kansas City is up to the ball. Marcus Allen goes in motion right. Here's the fade pattern. Going into the end zone. It's batted up. Yes! The Dolphins have held.
Dolphin defense.
In the season finale, the Dolphins' playoff fate would be decided over 1,000 miles away. But despite not controlling their own destiny, the Dolphins went out and controlled the game. Using big plays, Miami made a big statement.
Shotgun. The blitz is on. Dan throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Irving Fryer makes the catch in the left side of the end zone.
Yes, sirree.
Puts it in the backfield. Marino hands it off to Parmalee. Sweeping the left side. He's in. Touchdown!
Man, oh man, did that sucker break wide open.
He was untouched. Rippon is rolling left, looking to throw. He fires. It's complete to Todd Kinchin at the 35. Oh, it was jarred out and picked up by Pat Johnson. He's got it at the 20, at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Dolphins. Pat Johnson on a fumble return.
Wow! I mean, in the Christmas spirit, Santa Claus must have been thinking about Pat Johnson.
The Dolphins' big win catapulted them into the playoffs. But truth be told, mighty men and magnificent effort weren't enough. Still, big plays suggested that this is a team capable of great things. A team ready to take the next step. A team with a reason to believe.
Yeah, I really feel like we're going to have a good football team. I think that we're going to take some hits because, you know, we've lost some players through free agency and because we're going to have a transition with a new coaching staff. But I really believe we're going to have a good football team.
1996 should be a good season. But winning is an attitude, and Jimmy Johnson has long-range vision.
I think that we're going to continually get better as time goes on. I think once we get settled in with the Miami Dolphins, I think that we'll be one of the best teams in football.
The Dolphins have the talent, the tenacity, and the team to win. 1996 should prove to be a renaissance of Dolphin domination because a new era has begun.